Hey everybody, welcome to MMA Heat Podcast, the last one for 2018. I'm Karyn Bryant.
Oh wait, we're not saying goodbye to everything. We're not like I
No.
don't want to. Okay. We got more coming, guys.
Yes,
I got a little emotional. I know.
The last one of 2018. That's all.
Every time I see Karyn on TV, she's like, "This is the last time." And I don't want it to be our last podcast, but it's not, guys. It's not. What's up, everyone? Alan Jouban here.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's funny that you say that because we've said goodbye so many times now, but literally the other night after UFC 232, like it literally was the last goodbye. And it's funny because afterwards I just went and I grabbed a drink with my makeup artist, Gayla, who is awesome. But like everybody, we already said goodbyes. We already kind of had a party after UFC tonight. And so it was funny. This time everybody was like, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, I'll see you. I'll just see you later.
You know, it's funny because after a fight, like you spend so much time with your coaches and your teammates and this and that, and you get the fight done, and like it's all celebratory. And then like the next time you see him at the gym, it's kind of like, okay, like I don't even want to be around you anymore. I just spent a week in a hotel with you and went through all these emotions and ups and downs. Like, all right, I'll see you a little later, dude. I don't even want to talk to you. We said our goodbyes.
That's kind of how it went. It's kind of how it went, but you know, it was you know, the final goodbye for us, and we said our thank yous and everything, and it really has been something special for me. And I think I've said it before here, but I'm not a person who really kind of takes the time to stop and smell the roses all the time and necessarily appreciate my own accomplishments because I'm always looking for the next thing. But receiving the messages that I have from fans and from people who have talked about what we brought to them, you know, like I think about what I've done at Fox and I've had a great time and I've had a lot of fun, but I guess I don't always appreciate what it signified to other people, you know, so it's been really pretty great hearing from fans saying how much we helped them learn more about the sport or, you know, how much we just made them laugh or made them understand, you know, the sport more and really did help grow it. And for that, I'm so happy to have been part of it and to help, you know, to help people enjoy the sport more because it's awesome and it's so fun and it's been a joy for us. So I'm glad to have done that at Fox and I'm happy to keep going at ESPN. So
I mean that's how it is though, because same thing with fighting or whatever it is. But like for me, when you're doing it, you just want to keep climbing and building, as you said. But then when you do take a step back and kind of realize what your accomplishments were or this path that you've been on, this journey, it's kind of surreal sometimes. And so I get exactly what you're saying. But like you said, even me, and we talk all the time. I'm still a guy that would watch UFC Tonight every Wednesday. You know, I watch it once a week. Followed the journey along with you guys, and it's going to be a little bit of a weird departure not having that. I wonder if my TiVo is going to keep trying to record stuff now. It's going to be like
your TiVo. I don't know, Alan. Maybe I should page you to let you know.
TiVo is like the universal language for like recording in my house at least.
No, it was. Please.
I recorded it.
I had a TiVo. I loved my TiVo. Please, we still say, are you going to tape that? Hey, you should tape that show tomorrow night. I'm still talking like VHS terms.
There you go. I'm fine with it. Yeah, it might start recording like dog swimming or some weird shit now. Like who knows what Fox is going to have. We're going to have to see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, know exactly what's going to go in that time frame. But, you know, again, for those who have been asking me, I am going to be doing the shows over at ESPN. Although it's funky because even just looking at the information that I'm getting, like, and talking to my producer about it the other day, like, we still don't have all the answers. So people are asking me, hey, what are the shows going to be like? And what do you do? And I'm like, I don't know, because I actually really don't even still have the answers. And talking to my producers about it, and we are kind of obviously working on solidifying those things. They kind of just had to finish up this year, you know, before we can really focus. But the first show in Brooklyn will be me and Michael Bisping. There may be one other analyst with us. I'm not sure who is working with us yet. But for sure, Mike and I are doing that show. And all the things about the pre-show, the post-show, all that kind of stuff is still yet to be determined. But from my understanding, we'll be doing things that are not necessarily, you know, like on Fox, it was like, hey, tune in at 3:00 for the pre-fight show. Right. And from my understanding now, things will be kind of done to where they're consumable for people on the app, you know, when you want it. So it might just be different where you don't have to tune in at a specific time, but you can just pull things up on the app. But I still don't even have the ESPN app. I have to get it and find my way around.
Well, thank God they have a talker like you, Karyn Bryant, who can carry a conversation with just two people the entire time. I mean, you know, I guess it only takes two to tango, but we're so used to having three or four at the desk, and then you could bounce ideas. And then it's fun to have a contrasting opinion now and then, but now it's going to be Karyn setting up the one and only Michael Bisping, and what he says will be the law, I guess. So that'll be fun.
We'll see. Yeah. I mean, I really like having this is going to sound really weird, but I really like working with two guys at once.
Wade, edit that out, Wade.
Because I can handle it.
Oh my God! Yeah. Even more.
I know, it's just gonna get worse and worse and worse. But it's true, like you're saying, it is so much more fun when we get that conversation going. Like when we're doing UFC now. So I hope I do always get two analysts to work with, because it is more fun like that. But regardless, yes. I will have no time filling space with Michael Bisping when it comes to the audio space. I'm pretty sure the two of us can fill it.
The two biggest mouths at ESPN.
Totally.
Karyn and Bisping.
But it's great because even with the last time I saw Dana, we were talking and he was just like, yeah, man, you and Mike crack me up. You and Mike are so effing funny together. And so if DW is saying that or the boss man's saying it, then it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But listen, Alan.
Yes.
We've shared on this show. We've shared our feelings about Jon Jones.
Yes.
Is it the same for you? Because it is still the same for me. I feel like he's the greatest in the octagon, and I just am always hoping that the stuff that he's saying about turning his life around outside the octagon holds true. I really want it to be true.
This was such an odd fight week for everyone, of course, and for me as well. And I had a lot of people asking me, they watch our show or they've seen my Unguarded thing, and they're asking, what is your opinion on Jon Jones and the picograms and all this stuff or whatever it is? And I'm just like, I really couldn't even be bothered with it, Karyn. Like, it was a story that I was following, obviously, but it was something that there was new news arising every day, and we only knew what they're telling us, kind of thing. So it's like we could formulate our own opinions, obviously, on which side it may be that we care about this thing. But at the end of the day, I was like, at the end of the day, he's fighting, and they're clearing him, and I just want to see how he performs, what he says after the fight, and all this, and then kind of formulate an opinion. But nothing has changed with Jon Jones. I agree with you. He is one of the best, the GOATs, the best that we have ever seen enter that cage. The adjustments, the way that he fights, the striking differential that he's able to do when he fights, it's just amazing. But when you always have this tarnished past haunting you, and you know what's another crazy thing that I realized the other day? Every time Amanda Nunes is on a card, it seems like the main event ends up falling off and she becomes the main event. And that almost happened again. It almost happened again, and it would have been crazy that it would have been ironic that it would have been Jon Jones that would have been the person falling out again. But it's a shame. I hope everything gets cleared up, and I think I read somewhere that they're going to up the testing next year. They're going to up the testing by, I want to say it was a number like 20% more tests on everybody. And I'm thankful that they're doing that, because the contract with USADA, I believe, was at an end. And if we wouldn't have renegotiated that, love them or hate them, they're helping the sport. Maybe some people are getting off clean or whatever, making exceptions, but I don't want to be fighting guys that are knowingly taking substances and having that advantage over us.
But are you able to, as a competitor yourself, and as a fighter yourself, and obviously you want to be considered great, and when we're measuring somebody who is great, like Jon is, some people argue that, well, he can't be great by definition because these scandals surround him, right, with PEDs or something like that. And I disagree with that. I think he still can be called great. And I think that there are scandals that surround him. But I'm curious what you think. Does the scandal mean he could never be the GOAT?
It's tough, because it's like saying who's the greatest singer who ever lived, and you're talking about our era,
right?
Or you're talking about the past. There's so many things to the equation, and it's the same with Jon Jones. When we talk about Jon Jones, we would probably say, who's the greatest naturally gifted athlete, fighter we have ever seen? It would be Jon Jones. But then when we say, are we going to take that naturally gifted athlete and say that he's also the GOAT because he failed a bunch of drug tests and he did a bunch of things wrong? So does that exclude him from the conversation with clean guys like DC? I don't know. And then we have guys like, I've learned to live with the Anderson Silva fact. Anderson Silva was my hero as a fighter for the longest time, and he was the GOAT in my opinion. but now he's got a bit of a tarnished past as well.
Yeah.
And so I also say the best, when he was in his prime, Anderson Silva was the best. But now he also did this and that. So it's really tough. I feel like you have to have three different GOAT boxes, like clean, cheaters, and then maybe something in between. It's a really tough answer.
I agree, because also in hindsight, if you're using the Lance Armstrong analogy, he was the GOAT, and then the scandal, everybody changed their mind, right? So now nobody says that about him. I don't follow cycling enough to know who they call the GOAT instead, but I know that there was enough people that decided that it wasn't Lance now. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's interesting with Jon because, we talked about him so much leading up to this fight, and I think anybody, who watches him, he's so gifted and he's so creative, and you can't not enjoy watching him. And I've said it, it is more fun when he's here, right? It's more fun when he's in the game. It's more fun either cheering him or booing him at press conferences if you're a fan or if you're a hater. It's more fun. I'll say the same thing about Conor. It's more fun when certain people are in the game. It just is. And I still do believe that you can call Jon the greatest ever. I actually do think you can. And you can separate. I think it's you can call him the greatest ever and the greatest with the greatest what's the word? Regrets ever too. Do you know what I mean? Of the things that happened outside to tarnish it. It's hard because I agree with you. The picogram thing, the this, the that, the other thing. During the course of the week, I didn't want to sit there and parse language and go over the words. And is he cheating? Is he not? It was I just preferred to take it right. They're letting him fight. Whatever is going to happen with Tess will happen. I'm just going to take it at face value. He's getting to fight. They've worked it out. What does this fight look like? You know what I mean? And let's just get to the actual fight.
That's very much how I looked at it as well, Karyn. I like that you said that, because that's my opinion on the cheating or the steroids doesn't really matter, and it's not going to make a difference.
Right.
But if I could help people have insight into what's actually happening in a fight, what's happening behind the scenes, what's the technical, then that's all we can really control. That's all we can really contribute to this, because everything else is out of our control. And that's how I looked at it. I was like, let me just see these guys at the weigh-in. Let me just see these guys as they enter the octagon, the focus in their eye. Let me see how the first 30 seconds of this fight plays out, which in my opinion had a dramatic, dictated a dramatic outcome in the way that it was. And if we get into the fight, one of the things about it that I love that Jon Jones, you saw in the first 30 seconds, he took two shots early on in the fight. Yeah. And he was just planting the seeds early, Look, it's not going to be a jab war like last time. It's not going to be a standing toe-to-toe. You're going to have to stop my takedowns. You're going to have to stuff my takedowns, block my head kicks, my low kicks, the boxing, the elbows, everything. He had such a dynamic game plan in comparison to what Gustafsson brought that night. I wasn't that impressed with Gustafsson's output. Yeah,
Gus looked definitely different. I mean, both the guys were on a 1.5-year layoff. Obviously they train and they're not, totally ring rusty necessarily. The thing that was a little tricky, because I thought Gus actually was winning round 2 initially, but then Jon was able to steal it from him at the end, and then obviously we know that the momentum kind of changed and he was able to finish him in the third. But I thought the first round went to Jon, but then I thought, Gus was winning the second round to me. And then we were all sitting there and we're like, okay, he's doing well. And then we're like, oh, I think he just gave the round away. Jon started to come out a little bit more in the end of that round. So, it wasn't the same. Gus didn't have the same success that he had the first time. But then again, afterwards, if you saw the press conference, Wade filmed it all, so it's all up on our MMA Heat YouTube and listen to Cage in there and on our MMAHeat.com and all that. But Alexander was limping a decent amount, so there was that early groin shot, and then there were the low kicks and things, and I think that did affect his movement, and you could see him kind of shaking it off and trying to get his rhythm in, but I just don't think Alex had enough time, and I think some of those things actually hurt him more than we know.
Yeah, and the thing that stood out to me the most, other than Jon Jones having a dynamic game plan, was Gustafsson's footwork. I wasn't impressed with it. We talked a lot about that in the first fight. His footwork setup is amazing. Boxing, and that led to throwing Jon Jones off balance, and he was able to take Jon Jones down in that first fight. Jon Jones led the dance backing up in this fight. He kept backing up and just going around, switching stances, and Gustafsson was just following him following, not cutting off the cage, not setting up too many angles. I just didn't see his best assets of the footwork and the jab playing a part in the second fight. And I think that was kind of the demise of what happened to him towards the end.
Well, and then that said, Jon, we talked to him on the show after, and he was kind of saying, and he said it before, how he's the only real champion since 2011 and all this stuff. But it's the thing is what I'm saying. Like, if the man can just keep the outside world together, like he is unstoppable, and you don't really think of people that can beat him, and he should just be a beast or reigning atop of the division forever. He is better than everybody else.
Yeah,
he is.
And look, Jon Jones can be the heel.
Yeah.
He can still be the heel and not be the heel outside of the octagon.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He doesn't have to fail drug tests and all this crazy shit to still be a bad guy. If you want to be the guy that says sit the F down at the presser, do it. If you want to be the guy that gives it to the female journalists and kind of looks like a bit obnoxious, do it. But just keep clean or be aware of what you're taking or whatever it is. We have to eliminate that part, because then you can still play the role you want to play or show your true personality. You don't have to be a nice guy. Everybody has their own personality. All of us handle things differently. But you gotta pass the drug test. You gotta be there. You have to do the checklist. And that's what DC always brings up the most. He's like, look, I've been drug tested since I was in the Olympics. I've been wrestling my whole life. I've been fighting in different organizations. I have never tested dirty. I have never had a picogram or whatever pop up. I've never had a tainted supplement.
Yep.
But yet it happens over and over repeatedly, Jon Jones. And as they say, where there's smoke, there's fire, or back and forth. It doesn't look good for Jon Jones. He needs to clean it up.
Yeah, he does. And I also think, I know Malky. I like Malky. I know we all know his coaches and things like that. And there's only so much you can do to sort of babysit a person. But his team, the people that supposedly care about him, need to care a little more or something to help him. Or Jon needs to seek the help or ask for it, or just be grown up enough to know, I can't handle myself in these situations. Somebody please keep me from hurting myself. You know what I mean? Keep me from ruining a good thing. And I really hope he's learned. And I say that every time because he's so talented that like you want it to just work out. You know what I mean? I don't want to see, you don't want this to be a tragic story. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because that stuff actually does happen. Not to be like modeling or anything, but like we've heard of athletes that it's been out of control, you know what I mean? So, but damn, he's good.
He's good. I mean, look, you take one of the most exciting light heavyweight bouts in history, and you rematch it, and you have him finish Gustafsson. And he may have been doing better, as you said, in the second round, but I felt like Jon was in control. I don't think he was getting hit very much. He was kind of just setting Gustafsson up the entire fight. Man, you talk about smelling blood in the water. Once he got Gustafsson on the ground, and Gustafsson's head was flat on the canvas, I could see Jon Jones like unloading as if I'm trying to finish this fight, because he knew that Gustafsson's head didn't have any room to bounce. It was on the canvas, so he was going to absorb all that and some. And those are some brutal shots, man, and a good stoppage by the referee.
So before we move on to the next fight, though, I am curious, like, because I think maybe I'm in the minority. Like, I can live without seeing Jon and DC fight each other again. A lot of people do still want that. For me, if I saw it, I guess I'd like to see it at heavyweight. But I guess part of the reason I'd like to see it at heavyweight is because I think DC has more advantages there. And it's not like I'm saying I'm trying to get to the point where Jon can lose, because it's not that. But, it is hard for DC to make 205. We know that. I don't want to see that fight at 205 again, I guess is really what I'm saying. Jon is obviously a person who can handle fighting at heavyweight, I would think. But I'm totally okay if I don't see those two fight again. But apparently I'm alone in that, because it seems like everybody else wants to see them fight again.
You might be alone. I was going to say it's a fight I definitely want to see.
But at heavyweight or light heavyweight?
Well, I would prefer it at heavyweight. I would prefer it at heavyweight because it mixes things up. We've seen them fight twice at light heavyweight already. Let's see what happens, because even before the majority of the Jon Jones DC controversy, we've always kind of said like Jon Jones is, what was he, 21 when he came in the UFC? Right. he's going to go up to heavyweight eventually. The guy's huge.
Yeah.
I've always kind of wanted to see the experiment of Jon Jones at heavyweight. How would he be able to do with the reach and height advantage now fighting taller, longer range guys? So I've always been curious. Obviously, we're both DC fans that we know him, but I think it would mix things up at heavyweight, see something a little different. But even if it was a light heavyweight, it's still a fight that I do want to see, and this is why. The second time they fought, Karyn, although DC got knocked out, let's not forget, he was winning that fight.
He was doing really well, yeah.
He was doing really well, doing really well. He was pushing the pace, pushing Jon Jones backwards, keeping that pressure on him, landing a lot of low kicks. We couldn't see Gustafsson laying any low kicks in this fight. Jon Jones was in and out. DC, the shorter height and leg individual, was landing a tremendous amount of leg kicks on Jon Jones and winning that fight. I think if the fight ended in the second or third round, I had DC winning the two rounds before that.
Right.
The only adjustment that DC needs to make fighting Jon Jones is a great fighter, but what his game plan has been thus far, the only adjustment is just that dipping the head off to the side.
Exactly. Because he leaned right into the kick.
Yes, and the thing is, he can drill it and drill it and drill it. It's going to be tough for him to change it because it's imprinted into his DNA. It's a natural move that he has been able. It's something that he's probably done naturally. And then as the course of his career has spanned on, it's always gotten him out of danger. And all of us fighters do things. We all know these certain things that we do that we go, man, this probably is a little dangerous, but I always do it. And it's just, it works. And I'll just take the risk of that small 5% chance that somebody's going to really study my footage and really throw this strike at the right time. He got caught with it, obviously. If he can just take that away, take that out of his system, I think he's going to have tremendous success against Jon Jones. I really do. But he needs to take that dipping the head off, eliminate that, and then he can stand toe-to-toe with Jon, put the pressure, put the low kicks, put the wrestling and the use. Don't let Jon land those tricky outside kicks.
Well, okay, if it happens, then we know how to win. But it was funny. I have to say, when we were talking to Jon after the fight, and it was good for us to have this moment because he even said something to the effect of like, sometimes if I'm a little, testy or short with you guys, it's because I know you guys all love DC. You guys are all friends with him, and it makes me. I know that, and I was like, yeah, but Jon, that's the whole thing. Like that's why, we kind of do want to see you fight because we think you bring the best out in each other. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so don't think of it as us being all on DC's side. It's really just that as fight fans, we all know that together you guys bring the best out in each other, and that's incredible for us. But yes, he's our friend, but it doesn't mean we don't respect and, understand your gifts as well. So it was nice for us to have that little moment.
One last thing, Karyn. I realize that Jon Jones realizes that he is probably more competitive against DC at light heavyweight. And that's why he said, Daddy's home, come get this belt from me, DC. But I think Jon should go back home and give this a little more thought and think, what, if I am the GOAT or I'm possibly am or not the GOAT because of my past, why don't I solidify it by become the champ? Right. And if he goes up to heavyweight and is able to beat DC, and then he becomes the champ, and then everything that he's done really comes together even more. I think it's something Jon needs to really think about. I know he has a bigger advantage at 205, but it's worth the risk. It's worth the risk, I think, becoming a champ before they possibly eliminate the possibility. Because I feel like in the future they may not allow this anymore because once you become the champ, you have to essentially give up a title in one, and it kind of throws things, for a loop. So I think Jon Jones should definitely consider fighting at heavyweight if that's the only place that DC wants to fight him.
Yeah, I would like to see it at heavyweight if we have to see it again. But you bring up the champ, Alan, and I'm sorry, but Amanda was to me the personification of pure joy. When you saw that woman running around the octagon after with both belts, hugging Conan, hugging her coaches, hugging her girl, like literally to me, that was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. Not only just the way she beat Cris, who is a legend, just, not even just what Amanda did, but just seeing her joy, just seeing it literally was like the perfect explanation of what you guys fight for, what you struggle for, what you sacrifice for, what believing in yourself means, what faith, like to me, it was such an emotional, powerful, incredible moment. I absolutely loved it. And just to see her running around and talking to her after she was, you would have thought a rainbow or something was going to like explode out of her head of like, just like the happiest, most joyful thing on the planet. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
It was great. When she was leaving the arena on her coach's shoulders, could you hear what she was saying?
I couldn't. No, because I couldn't hear.
So I was sitting right there. She passed right in front of me. She was going, I did it. As if she had to confirm it to herself. Like she was, even though she believed in herself, obviously, that she could do this and she was confident, she was surprised. She surprised herself, Karyn. She's like, the way she was saying it, like you're saying, with pure joy. She was just elated, and she was like, I did it. And she was just screaming it, and it was such a beautiful moment.
So cool.
There was a big part of me though that was, I see Cyborg off in the distance, and she's still down for a little while, and it was crushing because I know Cyborg more than I know Amanda Nunes,
and she's awesome.
Right. The way she handled it was so beautiful, and it actually brought up the fans, because if she would have been down, the fans would have kind of been down as well. But I wish she could have got time to talk, and we can get into this on a microphone. I know they don't really do that after a knockout, but I don't want to take away from Amanda Nunes. It was a beautiful moment. She danced around the ring. She was reminding herself that she did it on the way out, and it's something Amanda Nunes is gonna never forget. I mean, that could be an iconic image for years to come of her getting carried out on the shoulder. When Conor McGregor won, he was like, I need that double belt, because he wanted that iconic image. And Amanda Nunes just outdid all the double champs with that exit of the octagon that night.
And for me, again, it's like, and maybe this is how you feel when you saw DC do it or Conor do it, but seeing a girl do it, like it does feel different to me. You know what I mean? It feels different to me, and also because not only because I've been an Amanda fan for a long time and I know her and she's a cool chick, she's a cool ass chick, and I know Cyborg even longer. I've known Cris since like 2007 or 2008, right? So when we were watching this in the avocado room, and I will be honest with you, like before the show, and Kenny said it on the air, I don't give my picks, but we were like, I don't know what it is. There was something about Amanda that we were like, I think she's going to pull it off tonight. Like we did say that. We really thought she was going to pull it off. And it wasn't really because of like, it wasn't because of anything that Cris didn't do or didn't have. But my whole thing was like, look, if you're nervy enough to call out Cyborg, to take the time to like go up and wait, to train, to do all this, like most women are like, I'm good. I never need Cris Cyborg to get even like remotely interested in punching me. You know what I mean? So there was something about it. I was like, okay, if she's that committed and that, that ready to do it, you don't bite off something like that. If you don't actually think you've seen something that you can exploit in her game, you knew something. But also, Amanda didn't really have as much to lose, right? Because her 35 belt was protected. They were fighting for Chris's belt. So Amanda had that liberty of like, screw it, doesn't matter if I lose. And that's a dangerous combination of, and by the way, also she's like ridiculously talented, right? And so there was just something about it. And Kenny and I were like, I just think Amanda's actually going to do this tonight. So when it was insane. It was insane.
I was curious about it, Karyn, because I saw you guys make the picks, and I believe everybody picked Amanda aside from Michael Bisping.
Right.
Who obviously, even though he might have felt that she would win, he obviously trains alongside Cyborg at RUCA. So it's the political answer.
Exactly.
But I was a little bit caught off guard because Kenny, when we did the show, UFC Now, Kenny was kind of telling a different story. When we did UFC Now, I'm busting on you, Kenny. He was kind of telling a different story, that he thought that, Amanda Nunes mentally might not have been ready or this or that. Right. So when I saw Kenny make the pick, I was a little bit confused, and I'm glad you said that you guys saw something, or just maybe a spur of the moment pick. But I didn't see that one coming, Karyn. I really didn't. I knew these are going to be two battle-tested warriors meeting inside the octagon, but I thought it was going to play out the second or third round. Something might open up. Who's going to fatigue first? Who's going to assert their dominance? No. These girls said, we are throwing caution to the wind, and we're just getting right in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's amazing because it is true. It's like there's no reason you wouldn't think Cris would just do what Cris always does, right? You might have thought, like you're saying, maybe, Amanda will definitely last longer than some other girls. But the inevitability of a Cyborg win, is coming because she's too strong, too fierce, too powerful. But really it was Amanda definitely seemed to have that speed advantage, and she can take a punch, right? I mean, obviously she could take a punch, and I do feel like the fearlessness of just going for it, right? Some people have tried to rush Cyborg before, like Kunitskaya, I think, kind of rushed her and kind of clinched. I know Lena Landsberg was in the clinch with her a lot and was trying her best. Holly Holm obviously went 5 full rounds with her, but nobody really did the Max Holloway, Ricardo Lamas, let's stand here and throw down with Cris, right? Because most people are just too afraid. So Amanda must have just knew she had enough power and enough speed and enough of a chin, because that was some ballsy shit. I'm sorry, that was that's why I just freaked out. Like, we were jumping up and down, and Avocado freaking out. And again, please understand, this is nothing about wanting Cris to lose or anything.
Yeah.
It was literally the holy crap. Somebody is doing this to the scariest woman on the planet.
Yes.
And how is this even happening? It was shock and awe. What is happening?
I mean, you said it. The reason no other woman had attempted to stand toe-to-toe Max Holloway moment,
Right.
because who's going to do that? Who has the power, the ferocity, everything that it takes to do that type of thing? Holly Holm is a point fighter. She's to slide in and out, set up her precision striking from the outside. She's not trying to stand toe-to-toe like that. Nobody could match the power and everything that Cyborg had. But Amanda Nunes was that person. She was the person that says, I'm the big dog in my weight class. I'm coming up, and I'm going to stand here toe-to-toe. I'm going to have that bit of a speed advantage. I'm going to have that bit of a reach advantage, and it's going to play an effect when we do meet toe-to-toe. I was shocked, Karyn. The place was going nuts, and I would have gone crazy if I didn't have that piece of my heart for Cyborg, just because I know you said it already. We all love Cyborg, but Kenny Johnson was in her corner. Cobrinha was in her corner. I've trained with Cyborg at Black House.
I love Jason Perillo too. Those are 3 of the best dudes going, right?
So knowing that I'm sitting front row and these guys are going through this emotional whatever right now, and everybody was going nuts. It's like popcorn flying, and I'm just like, what is happening? Wait, these are my friends, but wait, this just happened. It was such a mind boggle. It was so crazy, but I'm so glad I was there to experience it. Like I said, the highlight of it all, aside from the amazing fight, was seeing Amanda carried out of the octagon.
So cool.
Screaming at the top of her lungs how surprised she was that I did it. She fulfilled her destiny.
So cool. And by the way, how'd you get front row seats there, Jouban? You kind of a big deal?
I don't know. I guess the UFC is, I don't know, this new deal, this $4.2 billion buyout. I don't know what's happening. No, those are some of the better seats they've given me. Normally, they put us in the fighter family section a couple rows up, but the forum is a little bit different layout. And, we were all sitting pretty right there on press row, front row, so I was happy with it.
Hey, Wade, Alan's a big deal.
I'm a big deal.
Yeah, he's kind of a big deal, so we need to recognize, okay?
Let me give you a little 2-minute story on how big of a deal I am, because this was one of the funnest parts of the night as well. I finally got to fulfill my dream, which was taking Black Betty, taking my truck.
Oh, you drove the truck to the forum?
To the fight. And that was it the whole time. I was like, man, I want to drive my truck to a fight one day. So we did it, Karyn. Nicole gets dressed in all leather. I don't know why, but she gets dressed in all leather.
Nice.
So I was like, well, I'm going to have to wear me a leather jacket. So we're all leather in Black Betty, pulling up to the forum. We pull up, the red lights and all that, and it says, parking lot is full. They're turning everybody away. And we're late. I go, babe, let's just ride with it. I pull in there. They stop me. They go, hey, it's full. I go, look, man, I'm with the UFC. I'm a fighter. I'm fighting. I got to get in there right now. They go, hey, send them in. They go to the umbrella, go to the valet. I pull up there. There's a bunch of security and parking people. I go, look, man, I'm fighting tonight. I need to get inside of this arena pronto.
Amazing.
They escorted me to the very front of the stadium. I got VIP parking right there in Black Betty. I backed my truck in, sitting pretty right in front of the arena. We hopped in there. We ended up having, like you said, front row seats.
Yeah.
I was like, this can't get any better. And then when we left, everybody was surrounding my truck, not looking at it, but everybody was exiting the arena. Everybody was spilling out of the arena. And I'm in my truck, and I'm just like driving through people, and people were like, damn, nice truck. Oh, that's Alan Jouban. Oh, shit, nice truck. I was like, baby, this is like my favorite moment of ever owning my truck the rest of my life. So it was so fun. It was so fun to to have that happen, and to Nicole to be with me, to be at the fights in LA and the truck and everything.
Cool.
So
that's
that
really
was my
dope.
little.
I gotta say
that was my little
cool.
VIP moment for the night.
That's pretty cool. I mean, and yeah, listen, I know we didn't really talk about the whole move to LA, but certainly moving the fight to LA helped you because you got to go. I mean, because I was bummed because we were supposed to be out in Vegas. We were supposed to go to Vegas and we were going to have the fight, the desk in the arena, which is always more fun. Once they moved it to LA, we were just in the studio, yada, yada, yada. So we missed out on that. But I'm glad you had a good time because apparently he's a big deal with them. So
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Though. Yes.
Hold on, wait. There's a question, Alan. Hold on.
Where was he sitting compared to Halle Berry?
Yes, were you near Halle Berry? Did she have better?
So they were on the other side. So we had front row, media side.
Okay,
which
nice.
Is front row in the audience, but we've got all the media in front of us. No, T City and Halle Berry, they were sitting pretty cage side. Man, T City got Halle Berry on the side.
Yeah.
He had his Rolex on. He had his Gucci shoes, the denim jacket. I was eyeballing. I hit him up. I was like, "Yo, nice shoes, man. What's good?" So. He's been doing good, man. I'm happy for him.
Pretty cool. And wait, we'll have to find the picture of me. I interviewed Halle Berry. Maybe we'll have a picture of it from the Oscars, because
oh, nice.
I interviewed her on the red carpet at the Oscars one time. I mean,
kind of a big deal.
It's no big deal. Bryant. We could be sisters. It's no big deal. I mean,
kind of a big deal.
No, but listen, I'm glad you had a good time. It's wild that the whole night was kind of great. I don't know for you, like. To me, the other great fight was Volkanovski and Chad Mendes.
Yes.
Shocker. It just was. It was a fun event. I was sad to see, BJ lose, but Uriah Hall is such a great jiu-jitsu practitioner that you kind of knew that was going to go, sort of the way it went. I got to be honest with you, in terms of the other fights, I didn't want either Carlos Condit or Michael Chiesa to lose.
Yes.
So anytime Carlos Condit loses, it kind of hurts my heart. But I really like Mike Mav. Chiesa's a great guy, so happy for him. I thought he looked good at 170. But the one thing I am a little bit passionate about, Alan, is that I gotta see Megan Anderson and Kat Zingano actually fight because I know on the record. It's going to win for Megan, and really it's not her fault or it is what it is. It's the fight game. A win is a win. You got to take it, whatever. But you got to fight her. It wasn't a fight.
Yeah.
It wasn't a fight. And so I don't know Megan. I've heard she's really cool. She seems cool. For me, it's just I wouldn't be able to walk around holding my head up saying I beat Kat Zingano if that's how I won. You know what I mean? So me personally, I would really want to beat Kat Zingano. I would love to have a win over Kat Zingano if I'm in that division. You know what I mean? But I'd really want to beat her if I'm a real competitor. So I really hope they run it back. I think Megan said as much, in the octagon, even hey, let's do this again or whatever. To me, it was just such a heartbreaking situation for both fighters. I hated it, because I also thought they were going to give us a really good fight. And so to see it kind of end like that was so just anticlimactic and just so frustrating and so maddening. And I know the win goes on Megan's record and it's not her fault, but I really just wish we could see them really fight.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see them go toe to toe again.
What's so funny?
I was holding that in the whole time, going toe to toe because it was.
Oh shoot! Yeah.
Yeah, an eye for an eye kind of thing, but it was just it was like you said, it was anticlimactic. The party gets started, and look, Kat Zingano was she was bringing it in at the press conference and the weigh-ins, and I was kind of
fierce,
anxious.
Man.
She's fierce, yeah, and I was anxious to see how it would go, and then the eye poke thing, and it was over. But man, it reminded me, and I don't say this in a negative way at all, but it reminded me how funky Kat Zingano's style is. Seeing her, I didn't feel like I hadn't seen her fight in so long. Right. She's all over the place. She has different movement, and I think they mentioned something about that during the broadcast that Megan was able to find some of her male sparring partners that actually move like Kat Zingano. Right. But yeah, watching her fight, I was like, man, she does such unorthodox type stuff, just with her footwork and her movement. And she kind of shimmies her shoulders a lot. She does this little shimmy thing, and I wasn't used to seeing that. I guess I just hadn't seen her fight in a while. But yeah, it ended way too soon. Definitely, why not book it again? Yeah. Both women should. I would say both have nothing to lose. Megan got the win, like you said, officially, but I don't think it's gonna bump her up too much because of the way that it happened.
Yeah, I mean, and the featherweight division now, if we're being honest, like you were mentioning before with the double champ thing, like what will Amanda defend first? If she's even going to defend it at 45, I'm not sure. Would she and Cyborg have a rematch? I don't know. Would she just vacate and then maybe Cyborg and Megan fight for a vacant title? I don't know, because Megan and Cyborg were supposed to fight before. So I don't know. But I like we've heard a lot about Megan, and I like, initially when she got in the UFC and she was nervy enough to challenge Cris and stuff, but I still just don't really feel like I've seen the dynamic fighter that we've been promised, right? I mean, Holly Holm is a hard fight. And Holly, like we talk about, she's hard to outpoint and this and that kind of thing. So losing to Holly is there's no shame in that. But I feel like I'm still waiting on the promise to get delivered on how good Megan is going to be, and I really want to see that performance from her. And we clearly didn't get it the other night. It's frustrating.
Yeah, and not to change the subject, but when you go back to this, you mentioned Cyborg.
Yep.
I hear Cyborg is possibly a free agent now at the end of her deal with the UFC, and I really hope that she does get re-signed and makes everything work, because I think it would be such a travesty for Ryzen or one of these companies to come in and scoop her up and promise her all this money, and then what? Cyborg's back in Japan, or back fighting smaller opponents, like people, this matches that don't make sense again. Like, I understand she got to the UFC finally, she got the belt. If she wants to go make some money, there's that part of it that kind of I'm not even okay with it, but I get it. She wants to make her money, but man, please, UFC, like, do whatever you have to do to pay this woman, keep her in the UFC. She's an asset to the company. She's an asset to the women's division. We need these strong women now and then to come, the Ronda Rouseys, the Amanda Nunes, the Cyborgs, to empower other women and bring other women to the sport and to make these divisions so competitive. Because when you have divisions that are just kind of watered down, or there's no real true contenders, it's not as exciting. Okay, it's not as exciting to watch B-level fighters. But when you have these people that are recognizable and they're so empowering, they bring butts to the seats. And I want to see Cyborg. I want to see this rematch. I want to see a rematch between her and Nunes, and then I want to see what happens moving forward. If she has a rematch or not. If Nunes goes back and continues to defend a 35-pound belt, what happens in a 45-pound division with Cyborg? I just wanted to stay at the end of the day. So I'm begging Cyborg to stay in the UFC.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, like, an Amanda Cyborg rematch is interesting to a degree. Yeah. Like, part of me wants to see it, but then also part of me is like, nah, that was just like so amazing the first time. And, I don't know if going back would be, I don't know. But I will say this, Megan made a good point about the division and her fight, and the fact that she's a true 45er and that Kat was coming up. And again, sort of speaking to, and Megan was basically saying, like, it's more important, and it was important for her to get the win as a true 45er, proving that there are women who fill out this division who are actually really naturally here. You don't have to just keep trying to bring girls up from the other weight class, So in that respect, I hope that we get to see that fight again, but I do hope that they keep that division alive. Same with you. I don't want to see Cris just like take off for weird fights with the cup of noodle guy and stuff in Rising. You know what I mean? The cup of noodles or whatever is so weird.
That's true. They have those. Other than that, I mean, there was some good fights up and down on the card. One of the moments that kind of stood out to me, though, was the comeback by Uriah Hall.
I was just going to say that.
The Uriah Hall comeback. And not only that, almost even bigger than that was his post-fight speech. I mean, I thought...
I didn't get to hear it, so what did he say?
His post-fight speech was a powerful one. Okay. He pretty much, you could see that as Joe Rogan was setting him up, saying, what was going through your mind? You were down 2 rounds. You needed a big finish. You were able to get the finish. What was going through your mind as that played out? But you could see that he was like fighting something else inside. And it was his sister's. His sister's been battling depression. And apparently things have been not very good at all lately for her. And he pretty much just said a beautiful speech to his sister that everyone loves her and she inspires him, and the world would not be the same and not be as good of a place if she wasn't with us anymore. And he fought this fight for her. And man, it touched my heart, Karyn. It really did. It was such a powerful moment. And for him to do that on that stage, and hopefully his sister was watching, and to do that after a comeback like he did with a dramatic knockout, it made me more of a fan of Uriah Hall again.
Wow, it's good to hear that. You know, because when Fight Pass fights are on, we're on the air for the pre-fight show. So we have them on, and I can see what's happening. And yeah, I could see that at first things were not going well for Uriah, and I like Uriah. I think he's a good guy, and we're both, you know, I'm half Jamaican, he's Jamaican, like, so it's always, you know, there's only a few Jamaicans in the UFC, so we always kind of root for each other. And I've always liked him since The Ultimate Fighter, you know, and now he's training at Kings, which everybody knows that's where my heart is. I love me some Kings MMA fighters. And so I was definitely hoping for a good outcome for Uriah. And then as it was going, I was like, oh, man, oh, no. Because, you know, sometimes Uriah's doing great. Like the Boashina fight, he's doing great. And then it just turns and he's not doing great, right? So that's just kind of how it goes with him sometimes, kill or be killed. And so it looked like, you know, it was out. And I'm sitting there and all of a sudden I was like, oh, snap, oh, no, snap-a-doodle-doo or whatever. There it is, right? There's the knockout. So just had that up on the board and just kind of saw it while I was doing the show, but didn't get to hear his speech. So I really am so happy that obviously we know Moro, you know, who I used to work with, but Moro's really been a champion for mental health care. And I love hearing that Uriah saying that. I really am happy to hear that so many more people are forthcoming with that. I mean, I have to say, luckily, I'm a person who hasn't really struggled with a lot of depression in my life. And you know, I have hard times like everybody, but usually can kind of pull myself out of it. But I know that's not the case for people. And to see, because I know, you know, Uriah's, everybody's dealing with something, you know. So I'm glad to hear that, that he was motivated like that. And hopefully that turns his sister around or gives her at least something, you know, something positive to let her know people care. That's intense. I'm glad.
Because that's what it is at the end of the day. Sometimes it's just that one person that's just being there for you, giving you that light at the end of the tunnel. And he did that for his sister in a major way. Hopefully she gets an outpouring of love from everyone else who heard this or whatever. But it was a great moment, man. He's a good dude. And I hope he gives a little – I think he got the bonus. I think Uriah Hall got a bonus for that finish. And I hope he gives a little bit of that change to Master H.E.A.T, because he helped set up that knockout. Look, every fighter, every coach is probably telling their fighter win the fight. We know that.
Right.
But, you know, sometimes it just has to click. And when I heard what Rafael Cordeiro into the second round, he was telling him what he's doing right, telling him what he's doing wrong. He said, you need to push forward. When you're pushing forward, he's backing up. That's when you're good. He goes, you need to knock this guy out. Let's knock this guy out right now. And he got out the cage. And, like, Uriah went in there and started fighting differently and knocked him out. And it was like, maybe it was just whatever it was that he needed for somebody to believe in him and make it click. And, you know, every coach probably says, give me a knockout, but they might not know how to make it click like an experienced coach does, like Rafael Cordeiro. So it was great coaching. He followed through in his coach's orders, got the win. Beautiful speech, got the bonus. Good night for him.
Yeah, I love it. And, you know, obviously we know Kelvin Gastelum is there at Kings. And Kelvin and Uriah became such good friends when they were together on The Ultimate Fighter. And, you know, obviously we know that Kelvin ended up beating Uriah, the whole thing. But to me, Kings has always been a great place. We've seen them get great results with fighters and make champions. But kind of what you're saying, like I said, I didn't get to hear everything that was going on. But that is one thing that I love so much about Rafael is, you know, I've been at Kings a lot, and while he's there coaching his guys, and I listen to what he says, I listen to his speeches, I listen to how he motivates, and I've joked about this before, but we've been there at practice, and afterwards he has everybody huddle up, and, you know, Rafael is talking about how he would have been a preacher or a minister or something if he hadn't been a coach. No, seriously, and you feel that, but I have left Kings MMA, not even training or anything like that. I've literally left there after filming, and I felt like so empowered and so like, I'm going to win that damn Emmy, and I am gonna whatever. Like, I have just left. There's something about him that I really connect with, and I feel like there's something about Rafa that I don't even know if it's like the tone of his voice or whatever, that he just is able to get the best out of his fighters. And, you know, we know it doesn't always work, but when it works, and like you said, he had something mainlined into Uriah's head there and made it work. I love hearing that. I love it. Love it.
Yeah, it's great, and I completely agree. Kenny Johnson, as crazy of a person as he is with his coke and Mexican shred videos, he's crazy. But at the end of these hard practices, he gets us in a circle and he tells us some of the realest shit you can imagine. And he's about just working and numbers and just being completely honest. You want to be the best in the world? This is what we got to do. Show up and let's do it together. And I leave there like that. I'm driving home and I'm like, I just want to get my phone and like talk to people because I'm so motivated. I want to inspire other people. It's a beautiful thing. And coaches sometimes are able to that connection with the fighters, and that's what makes a good pad holder a great coach, because anybody can hold pads, but not certain people. Certain people know how to speak and make a difference in their fighters' lives.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, listen, it was the end of 2018, and I know you and I didn't put together our best of lists and all that stuff. But it's funny because they showed us on Fox, they showed our montages and all the cool things, and we really did see some amazing things. And it is hard for me to sort of pinpoint, what was my favorite moment or whatever. But I feel like the biggest moments for me this year were standing there when DC knocked out Stipe, because, what? Like, Stipe got knocked out, like, what? And then it was by this guy. Like, that to me was amazing. Obviously, Khabib jumping over the fence, that kind of blew me away, because Khabib had been, like, unflappable, unshakable, like, you know what I mean? The perfectly steady champion, to see that much emotion and all that come out from him kind of blew my mind. And then I'm trying to think of like some of the other fights that just kind of totally floored me. But I swear to God, that Amanda Nunes Cyborg fight is going to stay with me a long time, because that was just insane.
That's this year. I know. You forget, like, the year's already kind of been wrapped up in a lot of these shows that we're doing. But all these fights that just happened go down in 2018, and that was just such a crazy one. Another one that was...
Well, your fight, by the way, too, not to be a whatever, but like you winning in Orlando with Cage there, and your family, and my family was there too. Like, that actually was perfect.
That was such a great moment for me. Like you said, my son's first fight, my wife there on our anniversary, and not to make it a sob story, but our dog had died like a month before that, and so like it was... I love my dog, and it was an emotional thing. It was like, I used to tell my dog I'm fighting for that was just a beautiful moment for me as well. That was a great one. As far as a kind of a lower caliber celebrity fight, I say celebrity fight, but not as big of a draw name-wise, but the Rodriguez, the elbow. Yair Rodriguez
and Korean
fight.
Zombie was phenomenal.
Right. They're not the star power of the DCs and the Conor McGregors, but that was one of those fights that when the night was done, I felt like the internet was just going crazy. Like, everybody was talking. I couldn't wait to go to the gym the next day and like talk to people. It was one of those nights where you enjoy fighting so much, like enjoy being in the fight game to get to talk about other stuff.
Yeah, it really was cool. I mean, and that's the whole thing. That's the thing, like, like I was kind of saying at the top of the show here, like, looking back on this and being part of all these memories and these things is really incredible. And especially when they put the montages together, and I forgot some of the great things I've seen, like, over the course of the 7 years, because I started with them in like 2012, but that Sweden show was the first thing I did with UFC on Fox. Yeah, because Kenny and I had auditioned for UFC Tonight. Kenny got the job. I didn't get the job initially, but then I got hired for that first Sweden show. I was doing the reporting, and I went to Sweden. I think it was April of 2012. Then I started doing desk work with them. Then I filled in for UFC Tonight, and then it all kind of picked up and became a regular thing. But to have been there and to witness these things, and I say this, but it was like, my friend Tyron became a champion during those years, and I got to do a post-fight. My friend Michael became a champion. Just DC becoming a double champion. Like, the things I've seen, being able there, and I'm not even being like corny, but like the fact that my mom and my brother were there in Florida too when you saw, and it was such an incredible performance. And I'm standing up there, and I knew that when you and Ben were fighting, people could probably watch me up on that desk, because I was going mental, like mental, right? And I'm in there, and I'm throwing elbows and this and that, because I also really like Ben. So I'm losing my mind, and I knew my mom and my brother over there watching you, and they're invested in you, and there's Nicole and Cage. Like, the whole thing was awesome. And then the fact that we all connected, like, backstage after and everything.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That was fun. Like, I'm like limping. I brought some beautiful dress shoes that I wanted to put my outfit, because I knew the Dapper Scrapper was gonna find me, Joe, and then I couldn't put my shoes on because my foot was broken. My foot. So I'm like limping down the hall, and I see Karyn running and give me a big hug. Like, that whole thing was so fun. And then all these memories are coming back. I bought a ring for Nicole because it was our 7-year or whatever 6-year engagement. Gave her a ring downstairs. It was a fun moment. That was a great night.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Well, so I don't know, I've talked about, going to ESPN, things are going to be different, and I'm hoping to be doing, right now it's just the fight night coverage, and we'll see if more things expand. Coming up in February, I'm still doing the dog show with Fox, the Westminster Kennel Club dog show, which is one of the most amazing.
I'm down.
on the planet.
I love the dog show.
It's so dope. And so,
Yeah.
but we are obviously going to keep doing this, and we're doing UFC now and everything. But Alan, for your fans, I'm not a fighter, so they don't look forward to me throwing down. But, everybody's asking how quickly you're going to be ready and how many times we think we'll see you fight in 2019.
Yes. Okay. I'll give you guys a little info. I hadn't told anyone yet. So I saw Sean Shelby at the bar. Mm-hmm. Hey, and by the way, Sean Shelby, he hangs around some good-looking women. Okay, yeah. Let me just leave it at that. If you followed me on Instagram, you might have seen what I'm talking about. I mean, he's with these like Playboy bunny-looking girls. I'm like, Sean, dog, you were way outside of what I thought you was hanging around or whatever. But
and by the way, Tom Brady is his cousin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that must be what it is. He must have a card that says I'm Tom Brady's cousin, and I work for the UFC, and I can get you tickets. But either way, Sean Shelby. 2 thumbs up, man. Aside from that, I ran into him at the bar, and this is right when the fight started. Yeah. And I said, look, man, sorry I've been injured. I'm ready to go, probably early March. Let's do something, maybe Vegas, March 2nd. I got my eyeball on. And I said, by the way, winner of Carlos Condit, Michael Chiesa, just let me know if you want to do something with that. And, we'll see what happens. So, I think they would be a good Michael Chiesa is a buddy of mine. We always hang out. But he is in my division now, so we are fighting for the same. We are competitors now. I think it would be a good matchup. And he's new to the welterweight division. He's already calling out the top 10 or so, or top 15. And I think he needs to kind of get through some other guys first, because Carlos Condit, with all due respect to him, love watching him fight. But he was on a 4-fight skid. So you come into a new division, beat a guy that was on a 4-fight skid. I don't think that's deserving of a top 15 opponent yet. So anyway, one of those guys. I don't have a fight lined up, but March is the timeline, and I was just putting things in Sean Shelby's ear. So we'll wait to see what happens as it plays out.
That's a great idea. I would totally watch you and Chiesa fight, but again, it's hard because he's such a good. I mean, clearly we'd be pulling for Alan Jouban, but I don't like to root against Mike Chiesa. I really like him a lot, but he's cool. That's a great idea.
He's a good dude. I mean, either one, like Carlos Condit, I'm a fan of. But man, like that's the kind of fight that like I think, there's gonna be blood and all kinds of crazy stuff, and I like those fights. So it didn't happen, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I mean, you bring it up, but Carlos, it's like that guy can't have any luck except bad luck right now, because I feel like obviously that record is showing these losses, and it's not like, I mean, granted he's losing those fights, but like it's not. He's not having bad performances necessarily. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know if I'm Carlos, what I do with that information, what I do with my knowledge, because he still has so much fight in him, I believe, but it's just not going his way. I don't even know what to say.
He doesn't seem to be firing at the speed he needs to be firing. He's getting taken down way too easily. He was a guy that he was like equal for submissions and TKOs in his career, and now it seems like if you want to fight Carlos, you just kind of take him down. He doesn't really have the footing underneath him. Maybe it's ever since the torn ACL that Tyron Woodley gave him. He doesn't really seem to have that like scramble ability that he used to. He's able to get taken down much easier. And then I wasn't seeing. Look, Michael Chiesa is a beast, but Carlos Condit was known for long legs and a tremendous guard, and we're not really seeing that these days.
Right. Well, okay, so it is the beginning of the year. I'm going to try to take a vacation. We've been looking. We haven't really figured it out, so we may just end up down in, like, San Diego, fabulous San Diego, like Anchorman, or doing something around. But so we have some time off. Next thing is UFC Now on the 10th. Are you doing that one with me?
January? Oh, I am. They gave me some dates. I'll be on UFC Now coming up. Did you get to? I don't ever watch everything, but the end of the year show was a fun one. I didn't get to watch it yet. I
haven't watched it yet. They sent me the teaser clip for it, so I'm going to post it. But yeah, folks should check that out on Fight Pass. It is really fun. We did the end of the year, so it was me, Alan, and Kenny, and we're going over like what best fights, best knockout, best
that.
Yeah.
And somebody sent me a message quoting me. I said something about, they said when Kenny Florian won the...
Oh, yeah. Kenny posted something about being the red belt of the picks and stuff
Kenny
like that.
Kenny won, and then I was like number 4 on the list, which I was not happy about because I thought I was much better than most
Roundhouse,
people. And Roundhouse. And they said, you beat Michael Bisping, who came in at number 5. And apparently I said something like, well, that doesn't mean anything. Michael Bisping's drunk half the time. So somebody must have saw that and they like quoted me on it. And I thought that was hilarious. So it must be out, but I need to watch it. But
yeah, it is out. I got the teaser, and yeah, and Kenny posted something with the graphic of him kicking butt on Roundhouse.
Yeah, he was showing off. But I love me, Michael Bisping. It's just fun. I could joke with him because he comes on the show and he just doesn't care. Like I'm trying to always be like kind of professional and listen to what they're saying. Michael don't care, dude. He says whatever the hell is on his sleeve. He lets it go. And so I was having a little fun with him. But I got to watch the episode on that one.
Yeah, I need to watch it too. But literally, that's why when people ask me, like, who's fun to work with, I'm like, of course Michael is fun to work with. Because like you just said, like, I have no idea what's coming out of his mouth next.
No,
and it's going to probably be
yeah.
hilarious and totally random. And I love it. I'm here for all of it.
It's fun. It's fun working with him.
But yeah, people should definitely check that out. And then, so we have a little bit of a break here. Not next fights for UFC anyway, or not till the 19th. I know there's, as we're recording this right now, the PFL is starting in New York or so. But yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm definitely a person who's excited about new challenges and looks forward to new things. You know, my definition of hell is doing the same thing every day.
Yeah.
So the ESPN era, I am excited about. I mean, I if I'm being honest, you know, I'm looking at my information and it's like, oh, these air on ESPN Plus, and then this part will be on ESPN, and then you go back to ESPN Plus. Like, I'm a little nervous about people finding us and knowing where everything is.
Yeah.
But I have faith in our young fans that it's an app-driven society now, and people will be there to watch our shows, because we're gonna not deliver anything less than what we've done. You know what I mean? I'm just
right.
That part of it, like, it's going to be a little trickier when I'm telling my mom how to watch the show.
Yeah, right. I know. Yeah, it's a younger crowd that watches fights predominantly.
Yeah.
But I'm not one of these guys that is always like, what's the zone? The zone. I still don't have that thing. I don't know what the deal is with the zone and all these other ones. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep my fingers crossed.
I think we ordered it to watch Gegard fight, and then we canceled it.
And you canceled it. I did the same thing. Yes, I did it.
Oh,
All good. The zone. Hey, I will say this though. Fox treated you pretty well. Yeah. Your last show, allowing you to be in the presence of such a handsome individual. I saw Renato Laranja grace you with your presence. I saw you were pretty awestruck by this celebrity and handsomeness and his aroma.
Just bringing up his name, Alan, my arm, everything is just, now I'm just
sweaty
all excited again.
I know Wade must have been steaming in his boots seeing that handsome face on TV, but it was good to see Renato be by such a beautiful individual as yourself, Karyn Bryant.
Yeah, and the fact that H.E.A.T showed up in a denim gi.
Oh, that's what I didn't even realize it.
It's a denim gi.
Wow.
And the thing that was killing me
was confidence.
I mean, you know, listen, I love him. And so it was so funny to me because everything I read, every promo I read, I was like, I'm reading this straight. Like, I'm reading this totally straight. And to me, I was totally geeking out on the fact that there could be somebody's channel surfing out who knows where and had no idea that who Renato is and just took it at face value. And I love that idea.
Wow.
He's like, Cyborg. He was killing me. I love him.
When he was telling the story about who would he pick over Cyborg or Nunes, and he was like, well, I've given Cyborg my private, and so since I give her my private, I was dying. I was dying at that part, man. So good.
So good. Well, after the fact, I ended up showing my father-in-law Brokeback Mounch.
Yeah.
I didn't get to show him the heat. But
Josh Barnett.
We showed him a couple of other of Hanach's greatest moments. No, it was awesome. It was so fun. I love that guy. He's mental.
That was fun.
He's mental. He's mental. So, Alan, it's 7 hours till the new year. What are you getting crazy tonight with your fam? You getting crazy?
We're going crazy, kid crazy, because we're gonna go to Marina, and they're doing an East Coast fireworks celebration. So it's a party from a 9 o'clock one, yes. So there's fireworks, all that stuff from 7 to 9. So, we're going to head out pretty shortly and go chill from like 7 to 9, do the 9 o'clock fireworks, and come back home with Cage.
Wait, down at where? Marina Del Rey?
Marina Del Rey, there's some park I found online. And it's like a grassy park. There's food trucks. It's on the water. There's a big screen projector, and there's fireworks in the harbor. And it's free. And it's $8 a park. You know, these sites, I literally asked, I got like one of these Alexa machines or whatever.
Oh, Alexa's awesome. We love Alexa.
Yeah,
Oh, she's
I was
probably
like,
tuning
Alexa,
on right now and answering
yeah, I
questions.
asked him, I was like, Alexa, what do I do for, I
Right.
have a kid, this and that,
Yeah.
and this list came up, and this is one of them, so we're going to try it out.
That's a great idea. We might see you there because right now we were just sitting here, we're like, I don't know, get some hors d'oeuvres and some drinks and some.
Let's do it. I got some champagne. I'll text you after the show. We'll
Nice.
get it going.
Very nice. But I do want to say to everybody, Happy New Year. For all of those of you who have been supporting our podcast, we really, really appreciate it. I know there's a ton of podcasts out there. And, everybody's got a different flavor to them. But, hopefully that you guys appreciate Alan and I kind of a little more lighthearted. Not necessarily always with the facts and figures, but we definitely give you the truth about how we feel. And I appreciate all of those of you who join us every week. We really, it's fun having you here.
No, I concur on that one. I appreciate everyone. I actually had, being at the fights, like one or two people come up to me and go like, man, like I've been enjoying the podcast and
Cool.
and we watch it. So I appreciate that. I saw my buddy Brent was ordering some of the MMA Heat T-shirts.
Nice.
He had got one for Christmas and sent me a pic. So it's been fun, been a fun year, and I'm excited. Honestly, like going home was fun, but coming back and doing the show with
Right.
you and kind of getting back into the grind, I'm excited for 2019 and more shows to come.
Yeah, I'm excited too, and I'm already, it's like everybody. I'm like, okay, on Monday I'm going to buy more kale for my smoothies, and I'm going to get back into doing my
Yeah.
bulletproof coffee, and I'm going to do more squats and all that. But it is fun to kind of hit the reset button and reinvigorate and re-inspire yourself. So, yeah, I'm looking
Agreed.
forward to it. All
Get
right,
it
well,
done, Karyn.
I am on Instagram, KB Heat. On Twitter, Karyn Bryant. Also on YouTube, it's Karyn Bryant. Also, we have MMA Heat across all platforms. So subscribe, follow, and get ready for 2019.
That's it. Alan Jouban across all social media platforms, including YouTube. Check out my YouTube channel. I do an Unguarded show. Give me a follow. Thank you, guys.
Cool. All right, everybody. Happy New Year. Be safe out there.
Take care, guys.